What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Daily Smoke. And you know who I am, Brother Los.
I'm Brother Ron.
Brother Jam.
Hey.
Boy, Bobby Blackhand.
And Bobby Blackhand on the cam, blind camera man. So what's up, everybody? Thank y'all for joining us today. As always, we much love for your support. We hope y'all had a great weekend. We did. How was your weekend, man?
It was good, man. I was busy, but it was good. I can't complain, man. What about you, Brother John?
Shit, I was the same way, man. I was running around all weekend long, but I did get to hang out with some of my brothers. Bobby and Ruck came by the house Sunday.
That's cool.
I cooked some baked chicken, some black beans, and some rice, and we got to sit down, hang out, and chill for a little bit. So that was real good, man. That's the kind of shit that feeds you, you know.
Yes,
you get to
yes.
chill with your boys for a little bit. So glad to see you, brother Ruck. Hope to see you again soon, man. Miss you, love you, all of that.
Sure enough. Maybe you were hurting a day at work, huh?
Man,
I did this on a Sunday.
Them damn Modelo Negros was kicking my butt, man. Them dark Modelos. Have you ever had those?
That's not on for the drink, but they are like strong. A little
Yeah.
stronger than normal.
Look, I like everything dark: coffee, women, beer.
Coffee, women, beer.
That's what's up. I'm a Heineken man.
I'm a Heineken man too. I like European too. And then Amsterdam, yeah, I'm down with Heineken too.
I'll play it around.
You know.
Hey, Mama Joyce, glad you're joining us.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Thank you for watching. Thank
Man,
you for
okay.
watching.
Let me ask-
Amy wants some more of that damn banana pudding.
I know, right?
Oh, y'all
I
ate
got
the
some
banana
too.
pudding?
That banana pudding became real popular in my house. Even people who claimed they didn't like banana pudding was eating banana pudding. Okay.
That's funny. Yeah, I
That
had a
is
little
hilarious.
bit. Amy, that's her favorite. So she had some for breakfast. Then I
Are
went
you
back.
for real?
She had some for breakfast one day. Then she had some more, and I'm thinking, God damn, you done tore that up. I mean, I had some. Like I said, I eat it on occasion. For me, it depends on how the banana tastes itself. If the banana tastes way too ripe, I can't do it because I don't eat bananas ripe anyway.
Oh, no, that pudding was off the chain. Then my mom also bagged over there with a chocolate pie. The chocolate pudding pie with the cookie crust, whipped cream. So I just took half of that and half of the banana pudding, put them together. I was good.
Diabetes.
I was about to say, got diabetes.
Diabetes on a plate. Somebody call it.
I think somebody's calling in.
Okay,
This
yeah.
is This is Ron from the Daily Smoke. How you doing? I'm doing good, brother. We're live on the air right now. You calling in for the show, or you just calling in?
I don't even know the topic of the show today, bro.
I'll tell you what then, no problem, man. Let me get back with you, brother. I thought it was a caller calling in. We're live right now. You have a good one, brother.
You too.
Take care. All right.
Okay,
I apologize. That's the thing about Google Voice. You don't know what's personal and what's not.
Is
You
that
have to
does it
take
give
the
you
call.
an indication as to whether or not it's coming through the app?
No, you don't.
That's why we need donations so we can
Exactly.
get a phone of our own for the show. So we don't have to worry about that shit.
Exactly.
Go to the Cash App, y'all. Help us out.
It's not like this.
It was in Chicago, man. He a real
Okay.
cool dude. He watches from time to time, man. I've
Okay.
known Chicago a long time, and he's from Chicago, as a matter of fact.
Right,
Good
right.
brother, man. Good brother. It's good to hear his voice, man. But I think somebody was saying something about.
Oh, I was just going to ask a question. Have y'all been keeping up with this whole thing with Clarence Thomas and his wife, man?
No, what happened now, man?
Okay, so basically what it is they've released some of the text messages that have come out. Now, okay, and I didn't know this at first, but this is new information for me. She works for a lobbyist company.
Okay.
You mentioned that once before.
I knew she was taking I knew she worked with some charity organizations that took money from some certain organizations and stuff like that. But her actual job, she's a lobbyist.
Really? That's a
That's what she.
Hell yeah.
And the organization she works for specifically is trying to deal with certain issues that go in front of the Supreme Court.
Wow.
But this is your husband.
Wow.
And now that the Republicans are trying to be like, well, she's not supposed to censor herself or stop doing her job just because of what her husband does. They're trying to pretend like it's misogyny to call that out. No, that's not misogyny. That's a conflict of interest.
Mm-hmm.
He has to vote for shit, right? He can't just pull himself out of that.
He could recuse himself from stuff that would have to deal with his wife, but he hasn't been. That's the problem. So we don't know how many times an issue that she's pushing for has gotten a favorable opinion from him just because his wife is telling him on the back end at home at night, baby, go ahead and push that through. Say yes to that.
Show him in a check, look, honey.
Oh, you gonna pass
And-
that bill?
And he's even refused to divulge some of his financial investments. So he's holding secrets back on where things he's doing with his own money.
That's okay to them too, because Trump did that shit. So hey, why not? Everybody else can do it too. Whatever he
See,
did, everybody else can do.
But
that.
it's a little different when you're on
I
the
see.
Supreme Court, because that's like a I mean, you're a judge.
Yeah.
You a judge on the highest court in the land. I honestly think they're gonna wind up getting him out. And
Really?
if they do, if they have enough, if it all depends on how much they can actually prove. But if based on what I'm seeing so far, if anything else comes out, I honestly believe they might be able to get him out. And if they can get him out, the Republicans are fucked up, because then that's gonna give Biden 2 picks on the damn Supreme Court.
How's the
Right.
sister girl doing?
So far, she's doing pretty good. She's even got a couple of Republicans who've agreed to back her, so
Okay.
saying that they're going to vote for her. So it looks like she's a shoo-in. Because even the holdout Democrats like Manchin and Sinema, even they're so far they still on board. So if they get all the Republicans, and I think it's like all the Democrats, and I think it's like 2 Republicans who are saying that they're going to vote for her, then she's a shoo-in.
Wow.
She got it.
So they're kind of seeing, yo, this lady's gonna be fair.
Right, because I mean,
Regardless of
bottom
what.
line is she just got approved for a federal courtship a few months ago.
Gotcha.
These same senators reviewed her information, went over her record, and did all of this stuff, approved her for that. But now you want to come back and pretend like there's a problem with her? You had a chance to object to her being a judge on a federal court just a few months ago. Ain't nothing changed.
That's
It's the same woman.
That's Theodore Cross, that motherfucker. Theodore Cross.
Uh-huh.
Ted Cruz. I don't call him Ted Cruz because he's not. He don't represent
Theodore
Latinos.
Cross.
Theodore Cross.
Canada.
And he's from Canada at that. I
He
don't
from
know.
Canada.
I don't know how he ran for president, but yeah, he's not. I don't. He's a traitor to the Latin people. Fuck him.
man.
But he's the one that was trying to push her to think. It's like, dude,
Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham.
I don't see how people keep voting for these motherfuckers, man.
Hey,
It's
man.
like, I guess they're benefiting from it, because to me it's like, man, get him the hell on. If you're over 65, get the fuck out. Go home. Go retire like
It's
everybody
just
else.
proof enough that
Y'all got
the
to go.
American system, that with enough money, anybody can win.
Right?
If
True.
you got enough money.
True.
Right.
That's what happened with Trump. Who didn't Trump piss off when he was at the bottom of the totem pole in the Republican primaries,
And
man?
then they were all on their knees sucking his dick when he
At the end
became
of the day,
president. That
sure
to me
was.
is that's what gets me the most. You got 10 dudes running for the same spot, and then once we pick the one, dude, why are you all on him? You were just talking all the shit, but now you're his buddy, and now you agree with his shit.
Yeah.
Man, this is bullshit. It's like, this is fake as hell, man. It's like, don't make no sense.
Theodore Cross, that dude, Trump talked about his wife. Trump called his wife ugly and said his dad was involved with the JFK assassination.
Really?
And then
Talked all kind of shit.
and Cruz came out talking, I draw the line when you mess with my family, keep my wife's name out your mouth, and all of this. He was doing all of that. And there's video. There is video of this man phone banking for Donald Trump after he became the nominee. He's calling people asking for money for Donald Trump on Donald Trump's behalf. I'm like, dude, can you say, what is it they call it, a beta male? Can you say beta male?
That's so
Right?
crazy.
Can you say
That's politics for you,
I'm gonna
man.
get on my knees, unzip Trump, because I'm about to
Right?
Because that just don't make no sense to me. That's why I never understood that. It's like, you got all these dudes up there. I know you guys are all from the same party, but if I'm gonna talk shit about this dude because I don't want him to go after you win, I want nothing to do with you, because I still think that you're full of shit.
Mhm.
So why would I sit there and let's vote for him? Dude, I thought you said you didn't like none of his policies. Well, he's in my party, so I got to vote. Fuck that, man. I'd leave. I'd be like,
That's
I'm
these
done.
dudes who put
No
party
damn
over
sense.
everything else.
Right.
It's all about the political party. Now, what I find interesting is your boy, what's his name? The guy in the wheelchair. I can't think of his name.
Hot Wheels.
Not our motherfucker.
Not governor.
Oh.
Not our governor.
Oh.
This
Another
dude is a congressman. He's a young dude. Oh man, I can't think of his name
Can't
now.
think of who it is.
But basically, he came out. He did an interview on a podcast a little while ago, and he was like, "Yeah, man, these politicians that I've looked up to my whole life because I've always been into politics and blah, blah, blah. Mind you, he's a Republican and he's a hardcore conservative. So when he says politicians that I look up to, he's not talking about Democrats.
Right.
So he said, yeah, these politicians that I look up to, and next thing I know, I realize they're inviting me to an orgy. And they're telling me, and they're telling me, oh, we just gonna do a couple of bumps of cocaine. Let's go. You know.
That sounds about right.
But he came out and said that in public.
That sounds about right.
So now Kevin McCarthy, who's the head of Democrats in the House, he basically had to reprimand him. Now, mind you, you didn't reprimand Marjorie Taylor Greene when she spoke at a white supremacist rally. You didn't.
Excellent point.
You didn't reprimand Lauren Boebert when she was out here spouting conspiracy theories and making threats at other politicians.
Excellent.
But you gonna go reprimand him when he talks about Republicans having sex parties and doing drugs.
Excellent
Because
point.
they be in there too.
Exactly.
Excellent
That's why I
point.
was like, hey, you can't tell them what we do back in the back. You know, you can talk shit, but don't not that shit.
Politics is a rough game, man. I don't know if I had fortitude for it. They play hard, man.
See, if I couldn't be in politics because I wouldn't play the game. I just come out and call a motherfucker and be done with it. Be like, man, you was just in the bathroom doing coke. You know what I'm saying? Man,
With your mistress.
right. You know, they wouldn't like me in political circles because I wouldn't play none of it.
Right.
I would not be polite.
Right.
Like, I don't even like you, man. Why are you talking to me?
Yeah.
No.
But then there'd be an accident on Pennsylvania Avenue, West Street, that Senator Jab got killed in his car
That's
crash.
true. That's true.
That's what happens
That's
next.
true.
Because
Or your plane fall out the sky like Mickey Leland or
he
something.
just happened to be the only one on the plane that
You
day.
know, yeah.
Yeah, it's like they think they slick, man. You know, but hey, USA,
Yeah,
USA.
Look, Burley say Cory Booker calls all them fools out to their faces.
That's the brother, the bald-headed brother?
Yeah, the one that's dating Rosario Dawson.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. Cory Booker. No.
That's him?
That's the
Is that-
bald-headed
That's
brother,
him?
right?
That's the
always-
light skinned dude. Yeah,
right?
that's him.
Okay, I'm
That's him.
getting confused because I always get him mixed
New
up
Jersey or
with
something
that
like
other
that.
with
Right,
that other
right.
because there's another bald-headed, light-skinned black politician. I can't think of his name right off the top of my
Oh, we
head.
coming on up.
That's about as high as you're going to go, though.
Coming on up, man.
That's as high as
We
you go.
represented by all light skins though, so I don't know, you know.
Hey, you know, Sheila Jackson Lee still up in there fighting the fight, man. I met her once at TSU, man, around 91, 92. And she was so cool, and I have the utmost respect for her forever. I was walking out the gym, man. It was like, it was 93 as a matter of fact. I was walking out the gym, and she was walking in, and she didn't have a huge entourage. She wasn't non-approachable. I was walking out the door, and I looked, I said, that looks like Sheila Jackson Lee. So I turned around and said, excuse me, ma'am, are you Sheila Jackson Lee? She said, and in the most humble way, yes, sir, I am. How are you doing? She stopped, turned around, came to me, and spoke with me for about 20, 30 seconds, you know? And then we went out. I was like, wow, how cool is that, man? Walker Kings, keep the comment as such, you know?
Yeah, she needs that vote. She
Hey,
needs to
man.
make sure that, you know, she probably thought you were a voter, so that's the least I can. That's what I always say. When people
Hey, man.
famous, you want me to pay, they want you to pay for it. You're already rich and famous. Let me
Right.
try to get some money off your thing. You know? I may never sell it. I might just put it on my wall because I enjoy what you do and I want that offer.
Right.
There's football players, certain people, they want you to pay.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know,
that's
sorry,
true.
but the only reason you're there is because of us.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
You
true.
know, that's the only reason you're there is because of us. You want me to pay for an autograph? Like, you know what? I'll
Man,
just wait to see your shit on Google and I'll copy it and say that you put it there for me.
Cynthia
Fuck.
McKinney was real approachable too, from Georgia. She was a real radical at her time. Cynthia McKinney. You hadn't heard too much about her now, man, but she was really cool. I admire those leaders back in the day. I really do.
Weeding them out.
nah, they don't let him stick around too long. Hell, I'm surprised Bernie been around as long as he have.
I know.
But see, the thing about Bernie though is he still plays politics. He don't call people out. Like, you know, he plays nice. He'll say, well, we need to do this, and there's politicians who are corrupt, but he don't call no names. And I'm like, no, you need to call names. Because that right now, your biggest voting population or your biggest swing voters are the independents. And the one thing that Americans agree upon across the board, whether you're conservative, you know, Republican, Democrat, liberal, progressive, whatever you might be, the one thing that everybody seems to agree upon is corruption in politics.
Right.
Everybody's tired of the corruption in politics. We might disagree on a few different issues, but we can both agree that politicians are making way too much money off the shit that they do.
Mhm.
And so when you if you was to start calling politicians out by name, so people be like, wait a minute, but I like that dude. You telling me he's corrupt?
Mhm.
Yes. Even your favorite politician is corrupt.
Yeah, I hope it all in
If
there.
it's
So if you started doing that, that could create a populist wave behind the right politician.
Yeah.
It could actually turn some things around, or it has the possibility to.
Right.
Of course, with politics, you never know, because the minute you start doing that, of course, like you said, they're gonna come out with something. They're gonna start digging through your closet to see if there's any bones that they can shake loose.
Right.
So you're gonna have to be Obama spotless
Right.
to try to run that gauntlet. So yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah,
Damn
man.
sense.
The stuff that's going on right now, it's ridiculous.
What do you think about what Governor DeSantis did in Florida?
Now that is an interesting subject. I actually, and I don't agree with DeSantis on almost anything.
Really?
I mean, he is, as far as I'm concerned, he is probably one of the worst politicians out there right now, because unlike Trump is self-serving, but he's too, I honestly believe that Trump is too stupid to understand the harm that he's doing to American politics.
Mhm.
But DeSantis knows,
Mhm.
and he wants to be Trump Jr.
Right.
He wants to come out and be, because right now there's a little bit of beef between the two of them, because people are saying DeSantis should run, but of course Trump is still planning on running.
Sure.
So it's like, how can you run if Trump is still in the game? But now DeSantis is even starting to try to do a few things where he's bucking Trump a little bit. Because, Trump came out and said, oh, y'all should get the vaccine. DeSantis said, oh, the vaccine feminizes you. Like, okay. So now he calling your boy out. But that new law in Florida, requiring high school students to get what it is the law requires for graduation. So it's a half a credit course. So it's not just an elective or something that you can opt out to take. You have to take it to graduate, and it's going to start next fall. But you have to take a financial literacy course, and it's going to teach you the basics of financial literacy, how to handle your checking account, how to deal with debit cards and credit cards, and all of that kind of stuff. The stuff that we didn't learn growing up, the stuff that we had to figure out on our own.
True.
So I honestly think it's a great idea. I wish we had something like that when we were coming up. Teach you how to file taxes. Teach you the basics of investing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you had understood the stock market at 20 years old,
Mm-hmm.
even if it was just a basic understanding, if you had
Mhm.
really understood the stock market at 20 years old, imagine where you could be right now with just a simple investment in something like IBM or Apple or something like that.
Right.
If you had the money to do it back then.
So what's the value I mean, I know you said it in so many words just now, but what's the value that you see in terms of, like, how do you see society or the youth changing, or the course of the youth changing for the better as a result of this type of legislation going through?
Honestly, I think even though it's a Republican who's pushing it, I think in the long term,
Mhm.
I think it'll be one of those policies that'll wind up pushing the Republicans further out than they already are.
That was my question.
Because honestly, I think down the road, when people start to have an understanding of how finances actually work, how the free market actually works, and all of these other things, I think once people have an understanding of that, and all it takes is a little bit of a foot in the door with that kind of information, and then you're gonna get curious. Then you're gonna be like, well, wait a minute, if I did this, then I could make this money. If I did this, I could do that.
Mhm.
You know, you're gonna start finding stuff out. And once you start realizing how these politicians are right now, perfect example. There's a push going right now to try to make it illegal for congressmen, so that's the House and the Senate, to be able to invest in individual stocks.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now they can't.
Mm-hmm.
So you passing laws that affect the industries you're invested in.
Sure.
But the average person doesn't even understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start increasing that financial literacy across the board,
Mm-hmm.
and people start looking at that, oh hell no.
You think that young people, as a result of understanding economics, you think they're going to go more liberal with their fiscal spending than conservative?
I don't know if they would necessarily go more liberal, but the understanding would make them aware of things. And that's gonna start, like I was saying before about the corruption in politics. That's gonna start making them follow the money trail. Because right now, the average person who's into politics, they're listening to speeches. They're not looking at the money. Most people, and hell, 9 times out of 10, even the media right now doesn't even report on the money. Why does Manchin never vote with the rest of the Democrats? Anything that has to do with Green New Deal or any type of climate change legislation, the man owns a coal company. He's not going to vote for it because that's going to directly eat into his profits, his personal profits. So the rest of us are going to suffer. The rest of us are going to have wildfires and all of this because he won't pass a law because that's going to cut his coal money down.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
So when you have that kind of awareness on a broad scale, those kind of politicians won't survive very long because what they're doing will be very obvious at that point.
Very interesting.
That's something that I saw where you said it's just in Florida, but I looked up something where you could actually go on and download this. It's on everfi.com, and it's lessons that you can teach your children about these things. And it's the interactive lesson in EverFi, financial literacy for high school, translate complex financial concepts and help high school students develop actionable strategies to managing their finances. And lesson 1 is banking basics. I guess it teaches them about banking. Lesson 2, it is 7 lessons. The second lesson is income and employment, about jobs you got to get, things like that. Lesson 3 was budgeting, how to budget, how to do
plan out your bills and all that.
Lesson 4 is consumer skills, learn how to buy things that will help you make money or not make money. Lesson 5 was managing credit and debit. And again, it teaches you how to deal with that in a certain way. Lesson 6 was financial, higher education, how to deal with getting money for educating yourself and things like that. And then number 7 was insurance, learn about how insurance works. But these are some that you can go on right now. Again, it was everfi.com, everfi.com, and it has something where, from what I saw, you can just download it and do it. It's supposed to be for teachers to help, but if they can't teach them in school because they don't have a law for that, then maybe this would be an alternative that some teachers do. Or from what I saw, from what I looked like, I could just download it right now and tell my daughters, hey, look, let's start lesson 1. Let's see what it does. And it teaches you these things about, the different lessons.
Yeah, look, depending on the parent, you might learn some things.
That too.
Yeah,
and they say,
sure.
and according to this is for K through 12.
Seriously.
You can start teaching these children at a young age. There was another thing that I looked up. It was this lady, Abby Hayes, the editor of www.doughroller.net. And it was 14 things every high school student should know about money. Number one was you're never too young to save. It says kids can and should have saving goals and even retirement accounts already set up. Number 2 was compound interest is a beautiful thing. I didn't know what compound interest was, but compound interest is the interest you earn on the interest. And the way they put it was like, say you $5 at some percent, at the end of the year you got $105. Now you're getting 5% on your $5 and 5% on the $100. And every year you get more and more. The way with $100, after 25 years, you're only gonna make like $130 but imagine putting in a couple thousand.
Right, as you go along.
And then what's funny though is, they said, compound interest is a beautiful thing. The third one was compound interest might bury you, depending on how you deal with it, because it may not work. In other words, you get 0.5% and you're not putting more money in it. That's going to kill you. That little bit of money, they're going to take it out on payments and shit like that. So that's not going to help on you, I know. Then number 4 was you don't have to go into debt to pay for college. Yeah, according to them,
somebody told me that.
Yeah, well, according to them, it says contrary to popular belief, student loans are not required for a college degree in some colleges. It says students have many options going to college without debt. Attending part-time, work while in school, choose a cheaper school, graduate early, or start at a community college. These things are, in other words, you can pay as you go. You don't have to go and get $100,000 loan, go your 4 years, and now you owe for the rest of your life.
I did that, man. I did that. I can speak personally from my own experience about that. when I went to undergrad from 99 to 06, at that time, the cost to attend college was so far above what the average person could afford, you had to get a loan.
Right.
And you also, if you worked, then what you ended up doing, if you didn't want to get a loan, and let's just say for whatever reason you got a grant, but it only partially paid for your schooling, the amount of money you would have had to have made to pay your way through school while still taking care of your standard of living items, you would go to school one semester, take off a semester and work and get money. Go another semester, work another semester and take off again.
And see,
And that prolonged
That'd
your
be
time
longer.
to graduation.
and see, that's what I was gonna say too. That model, and I get it because I remember when people told me that, and I even tried that once. I had a grant that I screwed off, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go to HCC and I'm gonna take classes there. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just work and pay for my classes. But by the time I took one semester and paid for that, I'm looking at like, okay, well, hell, next semester I'm required to take, these many classes,
Right.
and that's gonna cost this much,
Exactly.
and I don't make that much.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
It'll
that's,
discourage you, won't it, man? It really will.
it really did.
It'll discourage you.
And I guess in this, they're trying to say, if you don't have the money, this might be a way to do it. It might take you longer to get the degree you want, but you'll get it without being in debt at the end of it. Another thing they talk about, number 5, was college degrees are not all created equal.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
Which they're saying, pick something that you like, that interests you. Don't go thinking that, I'm going to be a doctor, so I can make a lot of money. Well, it's going to take you a lot longer to get there, and all the money you're trying to make, you're going to end up paying on a loan.
That's
here.
right.
So go with something that you like. Look at the job market, see what's out there, what's growing within the next 4 years, and go to school for that. Because that way, when you get out, they're looking for exactly what my degree's about, so I'm gonna get a decent job. So that's another way to teach kids, hey, look, don't just go
Right.
just because I want to be a lawyer. Why? Because they make a lot of money.
Lawyers.
Wrong answer.
We got lawyers.
Wrong answer. That's not
That's not the way that works.
Yeah, that's not the way, and that's what they're trying to get these children to learn, that don't go for the money. I mean, that's actually one of the things that come up in here was like, it's not all about money.
Yeah.
I honestly believe trade schools are highly underrated.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Realistically speaking, if you can find a profession that you're saying, okay, I can go to school for a year or two, depending on what it is and what's required for it. I can go to school for a year or two, get my certification in whatever that may be, and then be done with it, and you out in the world making money. And then if you decide, okay, I want to go back to school for something else and maybe get a degree then, but you've already had the opportunity, you've got work experience, you've had a chance to maybe build up some cash. Hopefully, if you're smart with your income, but it really gets you out there and gets you working and making money a lot faster with a whole lot less debt.
That's true.
I was that close to
That's
going
true.
to a technical school back in the day when when we graduated from college, because I wanted to go to school for computers. And I was that close to going to ITT, but everybody's like, no, go to college, go to college. I wish I had just gone to ITT and got it done and out of the way with.
I knew a guy that did that before 2000, before the Y2K shit.
Yeah.
He went to school for that only because he knew what was coming, and the brother was making $100,000 for 6 months because they needed people that bad, because they didn't have nobody to take the 19 off the thing. They needed somebody, and he was making a killing, man. He said, I went to this because somebody told me, man, this Y2K thing they're gonna be making some money. So he said he went to school. I think it took him. He went to ITT, I think, and I forget how long it was. And when he got out, man, he was going all over the place. I'd see him every often, man. I just came back from this 3-month job, $50,000.
Wow.
I got another one coming, $100,000. I'm
Wow.
like, damn, I should go to school for that shit,
Wow.
But that was the one reason why he did that. I'm like, that's another reason why I don't downplay the military, because you can go to military and learn a trade in the military for free. You don't have to pay shit. I mean, yeah, there might be a war and you got to go to Ukraine and get killed, but you're gonna learn discipline. You're gonna learn
Ain't
all
nothing
different
free.
things, right? You're gonna learn a lot of different things, and you may come out of there as a mechanic that you didn't have a clue how to do that. Well, now most people here, you're a veteran. Thank you for your service. You're hired. You got a job now.
They changed that too, man. It's not as-
And depending on what it is that
yeah.
you do, So that's.
But I get your point. I do get.
But that's what I'm saying. So that's a way of not going into debt.
Yes.
You just you gotta face the fact that anything could happen at any given time, and you're gonna have to go
Yeah.
first before anything. You may be a mechanic, but you are a soldier,
Yeah.
and we need
yeah.
you to do that. But you can go learn.
Don't forget why you're here.
Right. Don't forget that you work 24 hours a day. You get paid
Don't forget
35
why
cents
you're
an
here.
hour. And but yeah, that's another way of, if you don't have the money and there's no wartime, take the risk. In 4 years, you got to come back. You may have your job right away, depending on what it is that you did. Because you can go to the military as a finance person.
Mm-hmm.
Go get a job at a bank. Next thing you know, you're the manager of this bank because of your knowledge.
Kevin said if you owe a balance to a university, it will stop you from enrolling in another institution.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
So
know
if
that.
if I owe U of H money for whatever,
Mhm.
and I try to go and enroll in
Ain't happening.
TSU,
Ain't happening.
they're gonna say nah.
Ain't happening. They've been doing that for a minute now. He's absolutely correct.
Wow,
Crazy. So they'll look that shit up. Make sure you don't own it.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Well, they want
that's
their money.
crazy though.
They want their money.
But it's not even their money. It's a whole nother schools,
Still.
Yeah.
whole nother entities'
Yeah.
money.
But the people that give the money is the same motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
That's
They
true.
give it to each one. That's why I was saying when you said teaching these children why they never teach it. These bankers don't want these children to know this shit. They
Right.
want them to come out like we did and fuck it all up and be in debt to
See,
them.
that was my question to
They
Jonathan
don't
earlier.
want that.
That was my question. That was my question. And guys, if you all have any, like I know Kevin, thank you so much. Burley, thank you so much for commenting. We can't see the comments right now, but thank you, Jonathan, for manning the boards. But if you guys have any comments on this, we would love to hear from you guys. Call the number that's scrolling at the bottom of the screen and let us know what your thoughts are. We would love to hear from you.
Right.
Sure.
My concern, man, was and this is again, I have no proof one way or another. I'm just entertaining the question.
Right.
If like when you found out, let's say when you were younger or even now, you get some money and you get a wild hair and you go spend some money, right? And you're like, cool, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna buy that, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna buy that. You're not tripping. And then when you start looking at the debit expenses that you made, you're like, oh my God, if I had known that I bought
All this stuff.
all that stuff, then you start getting buyer's remorse, right?
Right.
So I was wondering as I was looking at this and researching children, in high school learning fiscal responsibility, are they going to become more irresponsible with money or more responsible with money? And if they become more responsible with money, are they going to become more liberal or are they going to become more conservative? Because to me, it's been my experience. Once you really understood, my mother used to always try to hammer this in my head and it didn't quite sink in. But you have to understand the value of the dollar.
Right.
And once you understand the value of the dollar, if you don't really have a lot of dollars, you really understand its importance and you're less likely to misuse it.
Right.
Right.
I saw that as being like when I saw Governor DeSantis pushing this forward, I was wondering, is he doing this so that A, you can reduce debt, number one, which I'm not sure or not. But number two, I wonder if they're recruiting more conservatives from the high school level now in terms of their philosophy
Right.
towards fiscal responsibility. Because you're now, if you understand how money works, personally, I don't see you as likely to spend that money,
Right.
much less on public social programs as you get older.
Right.
Because you're understanding, hey man, we need to save more. Like that's when you brought up the issue when you said we have to learn the meaning of words. One of the issues that we didn't get to that you was going to bring up later on in one of our shows was the difference between the conservative and the progressive.
Right.
And so when I started looking at the conservative, I said, oh, that's how conservatives look at money. So when I looked at how conservatives looked at money, the programs that they have that they're trying to push in high school, it made sense. So I was starting to wonder, are you now going to start recruiting more of that mindset at an earlier age?
Make some more greedy motherfuckers.
But I don't think it'll work that way. I get what you're saying,
Uh-huh.
but I don't think it'll work that way. And,
Okay.
and this is just my opinion.
Sure,
like you
sure,
said,
sure.
I don't have any facts to
Yeah.
back it up. But I honestly believe that once you start, because the one thing that I've seen even amongst my own kids, because of course with my own, I tried to give them more of a financial education than I had. I made sure they understand this is how your credit score works. This is how if you want to build your credit, this is how you
Right.
do it. The little bit that I did understand about the stock market, I tried to explain that to them. And some of them have taken it further than even I understand it, and they teaching me some things now.
Right.
So, but the one thing that I've noticed about them across the board is when it comes to money, because of the way this generation views so much, this upcoming generation, their thinking is just not conservative.
Really?
It just generally across the board, it seems to be that they don't that there's just not a conservative lean to this. When they get this kind of knowledge, they go the other way. They go more progressive, more liberal, however,
Sure.
And I know those terms don't mean exactly the same thing,
Sure.
but they go more left.
Sure.
Because what they start looking at is, well, this is why the system isn't fair. This is why the system is inequitable. This is why certain people have advantages over other people, and they start to understand how the money works to a disadvantage for the majority of the people, and only works to the advantage for the few. So when they look at it, that seems to be the analysis that I look at it. And one of the reasons why, like, I actually like TikTok is because you get to see what a lot of young people are thinking. And when you start scrolling through TikTok, don't get me wrong, yeah, you're gonna see some booty shaking and all this kind of stuff. But it just like anything else, it depends on the people who you follow. But if you're following some of these youngsters who are talking about financial issues, talking about politics, you start to realize, like, okay, these dudes are not dumb. They're not stupid. And they're on the right path. They might be young and inexperienced and it still might have a few things to learn, but their leanings is always going to the left.
Very interesting.
I think a lot of them are learning that too, because on TikTok and all these things, they're making money off of that.
Yes,
shit.
they are.
Yes, they are.
These kids are making money that they don't know. Oh shit! So they have to start learning. I got to start saving. I got to start doing this. Like, and it's because of that. I think they'll automatically teach themselves. Or like we all do. Hey, I got some money, man. Let's go party. Let's go spend this money. I still got. Ain't got no bills. I still live at home.
Right.
We got a comment from actually my son. Gen Z harbors a very anti-capitalist sentiment. So, I mean, that just kind of proves my point. That's coming from a Gen Zer. So that's letting you know. They really don't, with that financial knowledge, I like I said, I understand why DeSantis thinks he's doing it, but I don't think it's going to have the effect that he's really looking for in the long term. I think it'll backfire on him.
DeSantis, when I was researching it, DeSantis, the reason it's even in the news is because Florida is the largest state that's implementing this. But from what I read, currently there are 54 personal finance education bills pending in 26 states.
Wow.
And 11 states, including Florida, are requiring the course for graduation. Interesting enough, in Tennessee, they're considering the course not only for the high schoolers that they have, they're thinking about expanding it towards the middle school, which I think is really, really important. Because we talk about Social Security and the possibility of it not being there by the time we become of age to qualify for it. I found out that last night, man, you know how they say save and all that kind of stuff in your 401k? They're saying now, if the market today maintains the trajectory that it's going in, if you have, and try not to have a heart attack, everybody, if you saved or have right now $1 million in a 401k, to make sure you do not exhaust the amount that you saved for your retirement from the date that you become eligible up until the time that you may, no longer need it or pass away or what have you, you're still looking at less than $2,800 a month for your expenses. And the
If you
amount
have $1 million.
$1 million. And they said they had to use something, I think it was called it's an index that they use. And the index, they moved that from 4%. Oh, they say you should spend 4% annually of your entire, what they call nest egg or your savings. They had to lower that to 3.3 to keep consistent with inflation going forward.
Wow.
So you're looking at about $2,800 a month. And I went, let's do the math then.
So scary.
That's less than $36,000 a year. My God. That's not any money, especially if you're older, not working, and the cost of living keeps
steady going up. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think it is very important that these children, whatever side they lean on, I think it's very important that they understand financial literacy because America, the economic landscape of America is changing big time, man.
Yeah.
Big time.
I guess they put that way too, because by the time you retire, your house is paid off, your cars are paid off, your bills should be paid off.
Theoretically.
So the money you have is just to live.
But
You
you
know?
also got to realize at an older age, since we live in longer, at an older age,
True,
you're going to
true.
have higher medical expenses,
True.
more potential surgeries, hearing aids, heart, pacemakers, and all this other kind of stuff. You're going to have a lot more medical bills. Lord knows that's like my mom is 81. That's what eats up most of her income is just medical expenses on medications and stuff like that.
There it is.
So, I mean, yeah, you might have a paid for house if you're fortunate enough to even have a house, because nowadays a lot of people can't even buy a home.
That's true.
So
That's true.
if you're fortunate enough to retire and have a house, that's going to be one thing. But
That's true.
that's if the house is paid for, that's if the car note is paid for, that's if all of those things are already
That's
taken
very
care
true.
of. So in those kind of days of the quote unquote American dream, that's going away.
Absolutely. Right in front of our eyes.
I know when I hear that, well, Social Security won't be around. I don't give a damn if it's not around or not. The money you took out of my check every month for the past 30 years, I want at least that much back. Because if not, you just stole this money from me. I mean, if you say, no, there's no money here, well, what about the money you took from my check every pay for the past 30 years? That's my money that you took.
They paid that out to take care of your mother.
You know
what
yeah,
I'm
but
saying?
still, that was my money. I would expect at least that minimum back. Whether it be $100 grand or whatever it is that they took from me, but not to give me nothing, man. You just straight out stole money from me.
You know, it's funny you bring that up.
That's
funny you
crazy. It
bring
don't
that
make no
up.
sense.
When I was researching also, I went to AARP's website and they debunked 10 myths about Social Security. I took down 5 of them, and you see how much it took. But I think that's very relative to what we're talking about because I'll never forget. I remember one of our guests, Jamal Simmons, was on. Jamal and I, when we were in school, I'll never forget this around 1990. Man, he had said, man, by the time we get ready to retire, Social Security won't be around. So the mind state of most of us around our age was, hey, man, when we get ready to retire, Social Security won't be around. Okay, cool. We just came with the expectation of not being able to expect that as a fallback on. I also speaking with a family member of mine the other night, and that family member said that was a bill in place to remove Social Security altogether. Now, so I felt that when I looked up the myths to that they wanted to debunk regarding Social Security, I thought that was very relative towards its association with children at an early age understanding economics, because there's some realities that we may need to be aware of.
Yeah.
One of them is Social Security is going broke. That's a myth. And everything that we talk about, or at least that I want to bring up, this is not my opinion. This is just the research of what we were looking at when we was trying to find out the information to present regarding children becoming financially literate. And it said that as long as workers and employers pay payroll taxes, Social Security will not run out of money. It's a pay-as-you-go system. Revenue from the FICA, Federal Insurance Contributions Act, and SECA, Self-Employed Contributions Act, largely cover benefits going out. In 2020, Social Security surplus was at 2.9 trillion. But the system, to your point, is when you say people are living longer.
Yeah.
The system is paying out more than it's taking in, like we're talking about socialism, that kind of stuff. But the retiree population is growing faster than the working population, and people are living longer. So the surplus is expected to run out in 2034, not Social Security benefits in and of themselves.
Right. They just won't have any extra left over when everything's said and done.
Exactly.
I mean, it makes
Gotcha.
sense because
Exactly.
they keep pushing it out. The retirement age keeps pushing out because they're realizing, okay, well, I retire at 65. I get my Social Security check. What if I live till 95? That's 30 years you got to pay me. I didn't pay 30 years, but you're gonna have to pay me for 30 years.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up. So they said that and that's very relative. Like this wasn't scripted, by the way. You know, we're just having a conversation like we do.
Right.
So that's funny you bring that up because number 2 is Social Security retirement is age 65. That's one of the myths. And they said the for retirement age, which is referred to as the FRA, worker qualifies for 100% of benefits calculated from lifetime earning history is 66 years old and 2 months for people born in 1955. 66 and 4 months for people born in 1956. Over the next several years, you increase whatever age you are by 2 months at the time of settling. And at 67 years of age, for people born in 1960 and beyond, then you're going to be what is it say? Social Security created in 1935. Okay. Yeah, 67 years of age. That's when you qualify for 100% of it, whether you was born in 1965 or you was born in 1975. Once you get to 67 years of age, then you're eligible for the 100%.
So we've been programmed to think 65, but it's really 67.
No, yeah, because I get
Exactly, because they keep moving it up
right
for the reasons you just mentioned.
Yeah, I get something every year that says, you know, if I retire at 65, I'm gonna get this much. If I retire at 67, I'm gonna get this
Exactly.
much. If I retire at 70, I'm gonna get this much.
Exactly.
It's higher than all 3 of the other numbers.
Exactly.
And I'm thinking, look, they just keep pushing that out,
But
pushing that out.
that's for 100%.
That's 100%.
But you can still get it at
Right.
65, 66.
You
Right.
just
You
won't
know,
get that.
you won't get the 100%.
Right.
So they interesting enough, they have something called a cost of living adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the annual COLA, and they said that the myth is it's guaranteed. They said COLA, cost of living adjustment, is connected to a federal. Now y'all may want to pay attention to this. This is deep.
Okay.
COLA which is the cost of living adjustment, is connected to a federal index of prices for select consumer goods. Your Social Security benefits are adjusted annually based on changes from the third quarter of one year to the third quarter of the following year. For example, in 2021, the index showed a 5.9 increase in prices. So benefits were higher by Social Security benefits were higher by 5.9% for 2022.
Right.
But they did the index in 2021.
Right. I got you.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah,
right.
So it shows if the index shows no inflation, inflation is tied to what the federal index identifies as consumer goods, whatever those items are, and they didn't state it.
Right.
If those don't change, you can have changes everywhere else. But if those areas don't change, you get no benefit rate increase in your Social Security.
That's crazy.
The problem I have with that, you're still behind the gun
Yeah.
because you're already retired, so you're on a fixed income, right?
Right.
So when the inflated market hit, you were 5.9% behind trying to survive and pay for consumer goods. By the time the market kept going, you were just now catching up a year later because it's from the third quarter of one year to the third quarter of the next. So the third quarter of the next, when you get roughly the 6% increase, that's to address the previous year, but you also could be dealing with inflation now.
In between.
In
now and then,
between.
yeah.
Exactly. So you still behind the gun.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's cold blooded.
They know how
You're
to
still
figure that
behind the
shit out.
gun, man.
But it's like your mom said. She said you don't ever get 100% ever. It is prorated. You do not
She
get
would
every
know.
cent you contributed into the system.
She
Yeah, and
would know.
I agree with you on that
She
one,
would
Mama
know.
Joyce.
The military gets COLA.
Do they?
Yeah, I think military they adjust every year for that.
Interesting.
Some type of COLA.
You would know.
I heard that term
You
before.
would know,
COLA.
yeah.
And they get that every year for cost of living. They do adjust it, but there's times they don't get shit. They don't give them anything. You just don't get nothing. Like,
Because
it's
not because things
guaranteed.
didn't raise, but
No,
because
just-
what they identified as the index didn't raise.
Right. So
Wow.
I guess bullets and guns didn't go up. So they don't
You know,
get-
I thought about John when I saw myth number 4. My mind went straight to John. When
Okay,
I read
what's
myth number
that
4. It said, this is the myth, members of Congress, and he just got through talking about this. So hey man, like I said, it's not scripted. It just came out this way.
right.
Members of Congress don't pay into Social Security. All right.
Okay.
The misconception is that members of Congress don't bother with the program because it doesn't affect them. That's the misconception, according to AARP. So you can all look this up on AARP if you don't believe me. Like I said, it's not us. Actually, it does. Congress came under the Social Security umbrella in 1984, along with the rest of the federal workforce. Previously, senators and representatives didn't pay into Social Security and were fully covered under the pension plan, the civil service retirement system. But now they are in the same system that we're in. I think they looked at the number of individuals that would have been grandfathered into the previous system they had before, where they had something totally different.
Right.
I think it's only 4 members left now.
Wow.
So that's why you always hear, I get the same benefits as you. I get the the same health plan as you.
No,
That's where it's coming from.
But
Yeah.
no, you don't. No, not really.
I feel it.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
feel it.
No,
I
you
feel it.
don't. Not
I feel
really.
it.
But that only plays into while I'm a senator.
I don't know how that works.
Before I became a
Right.
senator, I
Right.
had a regular job,
Right.
took Social
Right.
Security out. So
Right.
now that I'm a senator,
Right.
does that go from now until the day I die?
Right.
Or only for the 4, 8, 12? Or in
Right.
America, you can be a
Good
senator for
question.
30 years.
Good question.
You know? So I wonder
Good
if that
question.
plays into that part.
Good question.
And then why take it from you? You get money from that anyways. You're getting government money to begin with.
Right.
You know, it's like, why even do taxes? You know exactly how much you gave me. and how much
Politicians
you
got a
took.
revolving door, man. You go into
Right.
politics, you get money.
You're right.
You get out of politics, you become a lobbyist, you get money.
Get money.
You get money from the same people the whole time.
Right.
Man.
The last thing, well, they had 10, but I think I only took down 5, and time is not going to allow us to keep going. But I think this was very interesting, and I just had this conversation. Did y'all know, before I go to number 5, did y'all know that, and this is going to lead into point number 5, what the major difference is between Medicaid and Medicare?
No, I never really understood the difference.
I worked in community mental health for about 14 years. And this is what I learned, man. I noticed that when people would go and get their award letters from Social Security, people that had like Medicaid, their checks would be as little as, and this is a month now, by the way. I have never seen people work so hard to get so little, to make sure they never work again.
Right.
They would get $600 to $800 a month. That was their check.
Yep.
And they didn't work because they had a disability.
Right.
They didn't work. They didn't get X amount of dollars on the side, et cetera, et cetera. This is all they had. Bless their heart.
SSI or
SSI.
Okay.
SSI. I'm sorry, SSDI. I apologize.
Yeah.
Social Security Disability Income. So Social Security income would be like if you and your wife or John or myself or Bobby were
Regular
retired.
American.
Okay. So those are the two, because that's leading to the point. Thank you for bringing it up. That's leading to the point that we're going to make for point number 5. Depending on how long you paid into the system and how much you paid into the system, if you didn't reach a certain threshold in terms of time and amount, you got Medicaid. If you paid like most of us working into the system for most of our lives, unwillingly, by the way, you got Medicare.
Okay.
And most of the people that had Medicare, if their parents, if they weren't taking, if it wasn't because of survivors benefits, most of them, man, they were getting like about, I've seen them as low as $1,200, as much as about $1,600 a month for
Okay.
Medicare. So even within the Social Security system, you still have class differentiation.
You have a hierarchy. Yeah.
Right.
You still have a hierarchy. And if you have Medicare, you also got you got better health benefits or access to better health, rather. The Medicaid, those individuals, hey man, for whatever reason, and my heart goes out to them. But let's say you had mental illness from a young age.
Yeah.
You're unable to contribute to the system like you would want to. But you would get maybe $600, $800, and then the insurance for those benefits, which was like around $100. Then they took the $100 out of that what they gave you.
Yeah.
I saw that from my own eyes.
Damn.
If you had children and didn't pay child support, if you got $600, $700 a month, bam,
See,
they
they're
took it
taking
out of
it
your
out of
Social
child
Security.
support.
If you had unpaid student loans, hello, bam, straight out of your Social Security
Even
benefits.
out- damn.
Absolutely, yes, sir, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's something that a lot of people don't know,
Right.
man.
And I know what you're saying because, like, on the paperwork that I get, it
Yeah.
said on there you've worked enough to qualify for the
There it is.
Medicaid. Right now, the last time I saw it was 62. I get 1,088. 67. I get 1,288, and 70. I get 1,888.
So
That's the
rich.
difference
Yeah.
that they would give me because of what I put in.
Lowe's gonna be in the old folks.
No, and
home
it gives me,
balling.
and it's
I
giving
know,
me.
right?
I didn't even know. It gave me from like way back in 80 something when I very first got a job. It showed every year.
Yes, sir.
since then.
It sure
There's
does.
even some where I didn't work, and there's zero there. I'm like,
I did the same
ooh.
thing. I went and I pulled mine up online
Yeah.
because I saw you could access it online,
Mhm.
and it literally takes you back to the first year
Right.
you started working. And I was looking at how much I made that first
Yep.
year. I want to say it was like wasn't even $10,000, man. I was like, what?
It's
The
real.
thing that I liked though was
It's
seeing
real.
that started there and it actually worked its way up. As
Yeah.
I got older, I started
Good job.
making more money.
Good job.
Now there's some because of my name. You Google my name. There's a million of us there. There's some years that I know I did not work, and there's money in there. And I think those people that stole my identity, thank y'all for hooking me up with Social Security because you're not getting this shit. I got the password, y'all not getting this shit. But yeah, there was years that I know I didn't work. They got money set there that I made some money. Keep on going. I'm gonna be just like y'all do. I ain't saying shit. I'm gonna take the money and keep walking. But yeah, it's weird how you say that. I didn't know the Medicaid and all that was
Yeah.
part of it. Because I know my mom and dad, they had the Medicaid, Medicare, and TRICARE.
Okay.
And that, because my dad being military,
Supplement.
that paid for everything.
Yeah.
I used to see my mom them big ass envelopes for all that cancer. She was
Yes.
$1 million
Yes,
zeroed out completely because
Yes.
of all those different things.
that's right.
Which for me, I think as a veteran, yeah, you should never have to pay for shit. You
Agreed.
went to a war, especially
Agreed.
if you went to a
Yeah,
war.
yeah,
If you went to a war, came back, we got you.
Agreed.
Don't worry about
That
that.
could be a done deal.
Yeah.
man.
Agreed.
That's like, hey, whatever you need, we got you. You went. The only reason we got this is because you went and fought for it. So we're
Agreed.
gonna give it to
And
you.
I think Vanessa was talking about that the other day when she was over here.
Right.
Yeah.
We're talking about how a lot of people think, okay, you're ex-military, you're a veteran, whatever. Your benefits once you get out should just be automatic. But no, these people have to fight
They sure do.
for their
I
benefits.
know.
That's crazy, man. That's
They
crazy.
changed the
That don't make
rules
no
on me,
sense.
man. They caught
I
me
mean,
on
I
guard.
could understand maybe if you didn't go to war, a little bit different. But if you went and you were in a war zone, that's automatic. The day you come back, if you make it out of there, whatever you need, brother, we got you. You know, you shouldn't have to pay for shit
Yeah,
when
man.
it comes to medical and shit like that. You know, so but yeah, that's crazy. But hey, these kids are gonna learn. They're gonna learn and they're gonna get greedy.
I think it's very appropriate, man. I think as we get ready to go ahead and wind down, because I think we only got a couple of minutes left, man. That what are y'all thoughts, overall regarding like what we discussed with children learning, et cetera, man? Like, what's your important thoughts?
I honestly believe, like I said before, I think it's a good thing. I don't think as far as conservatives pushing it like they are,
Sure.
I don't think it's going to have the outcome that they want.
Uh-huh.
But I think it's a good thing because we need to understand our financial system.
Absolutely.
And right now there is a lot of ignorance in this country behind how our money works, how our banking systems work.
Right.
I mean, we grew up in a generation where we was told, put money in a savings account, put money
That's
in a savings account, put money in a savings account. Put money in a savings account loses you money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's great for an occasional emergency. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't save money,
Mhm.
but to really have anything for retirement,
Mhm.
to really have anything that you're gonna try to live off of later on in life, you have to invest.
Mm-hmm.
And most of us don't know anything about the stock market
That's true.
or how finances or credit even works. And we learn about credit once our credit gets fucked up.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
want that house.
Exactly.
That's how I feel. It's a good thing to that they learn so that they don't fall into the traps we fell into.
Mhm.
Credit. Oh yeah. Next thing you know, I'm broke. Like, you know what? I need to eat this week. That don't get paid. That
Yeah.
don't get paid. That don't get paid. Now my credit score is
That's the reality of it
fucked
too.
up, you know. But hey, that's what I had to do.
It's not that you was irresponsible.
Right.
That was just the reality.
Right. You just didn't know any better.
Right. So hopefully they do learn that. Nope, I don't need all these damn credit cards.
Brother Bobby, you got Brother Black Hands on the ones and twos back there. You got anything you want to say to us, man, before we head out?
Everybody, thanks for joining us. I love hanging out with my brothers. I love that everybody is watching us and hang out with us every Mondays through Fridays.
That's right.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
That's
We're
right.
going to be pushing out something. So, thank you everyone for joining us. Lead us out.
All right, man. And don't forget, please donate to that Cash App because, again, that money, talking about fiscal responsibility, we're trying to bring you guys better programming or what have you. So, and the ones that are showing up, if you would like to give and can't give, like they say in church, we thank you for your heart. So
Hey,
thank you,
appreciate it.
thank
Just
you
for
for
being
your
here is
presence.
enough,
Yes, indeed. Thank you
And
so
spreading the
much.
word.
Thank you so much.
And if you can't donate, just like and share. That's
Absolutely.
all we ever ask,
Hit
man.
the like
Yeah.
button.
Yeah, because ultimately that's gonna help us get to where we need to be just as much as the money donation will. Although
Absolutely.
the money is nice,
Absolutely.
but we appreciate you for liking and sharing, man.
Absolutely. So I'm Brother Ron,
Brother Los.
Brother Jam,
And your boy Black Hand.
and we are the Daily Smoke, and we are out.
peace.
We